this one for sure. I think that Imanji has packed an awful lot of, an above average amount of graveyard hate, in including that Ghost Vacuum here in the list. One of the things to note also about this matchup that's very interesting is that the Reanimator player may find a space during the matchup to reanimate the opponent's Dreadnought, which is a play that I am particularly hoping to see on camera. Very exciting when that happens. If you can't get your own stuff, why not take your opponent's, right? And a 1 mana 12/12 is certainly not a big loss on the life total. So we have
For sure.
Imanji's list pulled up here right now. I think that in game one, these abhorrent oculi might kind of work a little bit counter to what he wants to do. I think that Atraxa kind of stonewalls it, right? It'll kind of gum up the board a little bit, but it'll be very hard to break through. Although it does kind of neutralize Archon of Cruelty, which may be a preferable line against a control deck like Dreadnought, right? So, what
Also
are your
of
thoughts on
note,
this one?
yeah, a Traxa line might be nice, but sometimes you just don't fight against the reanimate plan. If you can stick your stifle or consign with a trigger, you play your Doorkeeper Thrall with your early petal, keeping up the force as the backup, and then Swords and Plowshares is a really good answer against Atraxa. And the part that is annoying about Atraxa is drawing cards. So if you take the best 4 or 5 cards out of 10 cards, then you're up ahead. But if you just play into Reanimate, into Doorkeeper Thrall, then you are down 2 cards. You have your 7/7 Beater. It's kind of like the Sire of 7 Deaths without First Strike and Trample, I guess, but it's just a big dumb creature, and your Dreadnoughts can raise Atraxa in theory. So I think there's a lot of play if the right cards align from the Dreadnought player that they have more game than a normal control deck.
Definitely, most definitely. Looks like our players are gearing up to start here. Shuffling up for game one. I'm really excited to see this one in particular. DoomBot is going to start off on the play. Actually, he's rolling. He should know that it's based on seeding here. So,
Yes, I guess he will get a notification really. Perfect. He should get a
perfect,
note from our
perfect.
table spotters. Of note, today we have a bigger crew behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
at our table we have Doc, who's spotting our camera matches, who's helping out a lot. The seeding isn't till finals. Here, so
Oh,
there will be
gotcha,
die rolls.
gotcha. I
Yes,
see.
and then
My
we
mistake
also
then.
have our lovely Div table spotting the other 3 matchups in the second winners bracket and the 2 loser bracket matches to check on the players if there's everything going all right, helping them out if there anything is going on. And then we have our lovely AM Amaru, who's TOing us and doing all the admin work in the background that has nothing to do with the stream that is done by Mr. Jack Dex
Mhm.
himself. So another note. Okay, Dalibor showed up, so he has his own underdog tail now, starting in the losers bracket, being
That
able
is true.
to fight against the missed match one.
Hmm.
Looking forward to seeing that go out. So players are mulliganing.
Indeed. It appears as though Imanji is going first, or at least he resolved his mulligan first. Double check the spotting.
DoomBot is on the play. Okay. So if you
Indeed.
go against Reanimator, do you always, like, if you play with open deckness, you know what they are going on about? Do you always try to have some interaction on turn one to stop the reanimate game plan, or do you say, okay, they also have a fair game plan. I can't go down to 5 cards, losing 2 cards just to be losing to a fair game plan anyway. What's your strategy in this situation?
So I think that as a Dreadnought player, you know with an open deck list, you do have to kind of hope that you have some kind of interaction for their Entomb or their their kind of threats, because this deck can also play Tameo, right? Reanimator often also plays Tameo, and if I remember correctly, DoomBot is on that package. So we do want to have some kind of interaction for the board. There's a lot of diverse threats in Doombot's list, though. So I think that it might be hard to try to mulligan to something that is specifically good against it, because one of the things about this deck is that it can pivot pretty seamlessly between the two plans, right? It can choose to take more of a tempo-centric approach, or it can choose to aggressively push out a reanimated threat and then kind of run away with advantage. So
For sure. So here we see both players just passing the turn. Doombot, do you think there will be an Entomb going straight for the eyes?
I think it's possible. Yeah, I think that it's very interesting that he opted to wait to fetch until after the Curienought player played their land for turn. I think that there's a real danger in doing that when you know that there's a one of Stifle in the deck.
Yes,
But
I
it's
think
pretty
so too.
fearless to wait.
But they're going for the surveillance, so not the turbo doomsday plan with Entomb,
Mhm.
just trying to be looking for better cards, finding the white spots to win here.
Yep.
So
You're bidding an Underground Sea. Love the altar sleeves that Doombot has on his Underground Seas. They're beautiful.
they are great. Um, like looking at Imanji's playmat, I see this would be the perfect Doomsday playmat, honestly.
Indeed,
So
it's really cool. Is that like an old school playmat? Because it looks like I mean, it's obviously kind of a throwback to Chaos Orb, right? So
I think so. It looks pretty dope. So let's see. We have Brainstorm from DoomBot's side. We are looking.
indeed,
Do we play 2 surveillances? Do we have the option to put Atraxa on top and then surveilling again,
we
getting a
do.
free Entomb?
We
Oh,
do have
that's
that possibility
sweet.
in this particular build. Yep.
But not today. There's a polluted delta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Manji moving to draw step. The other thing about Dreadnought is that it is, deceptively, when you look at the list, you think a 1 mana 12/12, this deck is really just going to hit the ground running. But oftentimes, this deck plays very slowly, and then when the door is finally open after several turns of playing the control role, it pivots and then it applies very fast pressure. So,
Yeah, here Imanji utilizing his wasteland against this slow game plan. Okay, there was no fetching going on, so I guess there were some lands were put on top. Ooh,
yep,
another one of these nice
definitely.
CCs. Also,
Yeah, I think
not a
that if
single
we.
spell was cast from Imanji's side.
Mm-mm. Wonder if we have an Orcish Bowmasters in hand right now. Tundra Pass, fetch with the Delta. Do you think we go into another Surveil here, or do you think we're going to like Brainstorm Entomb?
You could go for Surveil and Brainstorm the creature on top. Um, okay, there we go. Let's see. Maybe we just want to accrue some value, taking our time. Also, Doorkeeper Thrall is a possibility now from Imanji's side. So even if we get our tracks on the battlefield, we have to fight and keep it around still.
Indeed. Here comes the Surveil, no Brainstorm. Leaving it on top. Could be more mana. Brainstorm again. No reason to fight over it, right?
I mean, it's always a possibility. If you are the blue-black reanimator player, you know you're playing against. a semi-fair deck. You just have a couple of cantrips in your hand, a ponder, some brainstorms. You can take your time. You don't need to win fast until they
It's true.
start trying to do their combo shenanigans.
Hmm. Thinking about this brainstorm.
So looking at Imanji's board, we see some distinct signatures on the cards. From which side of the battlefield are you? Are you a signature person or are you a no signature person?
I am particularly partial to signed cards. I know that a lot of people say that they are less valuable when they are signed, but I think that if you have no intention of, getting rid of the card, then there's no harm in signing it, right?
Cards that you never sell have zero value. They just have like a lot of sentimental value. I agree with you there. Personally, I'm not going to uh, making my deck unique by having them signed, but I know a lot of players like our lovely Oliver who are big in the game, and I respect it. I love to see
Mhm.
people doing to the decks what makes them happy with it.
Yes, for sure. There's personality to it, right? I think even, card choice, which is something that I'm sure that you're familiar with as well, diversity in card choice. So,
I mean, some players diversify by playing different artworks for sure. Yes. Okay, small technical difficulties on DoomBot's side
looks
with the
like we're
camera.
adjusting the camera a little bit. Yep. Just kind of trying to point it down so that the visibility of everything is a little better. See, so we had a Tameo that got Swords to Plowshares last turn, exiling it. No, Days wouldn't have done anything in that
So
situation. Looks like we're still on 2 lands. Tameo number
Imanji,
2.
off note, just passing the turn, not doing anything here. Both players having around 6 cards in hand. DoomBot should be at 5 now.
Yep. Could see a force here. Tameo is a very, if there's no removal spell, Tameo is an extremely effective threat.
So what do you think is on Imanji's side? Because there's land can be full of force of wills and everything else, but otherwise we have blue mana, we have white mana.
Yep.
Okay.
We have another blue mana. We're bolting in the Sink into Stupor, the Soporific Springs. Should bring him down to 17 here.
Very good card. Also the addition of the new MDFC lands. Enabling new
Passing.
archetypes like the new Cloud Post variant. Have you seen the blue Cloud Post variant yet?
I have not seen Blue Post yet. I've heard whispers of it, but that sounds extremely interesting. I've seen the blue painter lists with Emery that are playing the Sink into Stupors, but I haven't seen the post lists yet.
So post list super interesting because this deck box right here, I built the deck, played it today at our locals, and this deck is so much fun. Went undefeated, you just have to try it out. So another turn of passing. Tamio finally getting to attack here. So we can start accruing value, or we
Indeed.
can check. So if we have Stifle available, if there's a brainstorm or anything happening,
Mhm.
we can stifle the return trigger.
Here we have a Doorkeeper Thrall flashed in on the end step. This is the thing that Stiflenaught wants to do, right? It wants to set up these kinds of turns where you can go into, Null Drifter or Phyrexian Dreadnought. In this case, this iteration of the deck is not playing Null Drifter, I don't believe.
It does
I'll double
not.
check the list. Yeah, because it goes in more on the Curies and the those kinds of threats, and like Tameo. So we will see something here. Attack for 1.
Imanji thinking. 6 cards in their hand.
Could just have a hand, a grip full of control elements. Nope, there is the shrimp. 1 mana 12/12.
So
Are the
let's
other
check.
games viewable on Discord? Unfortunately, no. The channels do have to be private to prevent outside interference. But we do have backup matches in case one of the games goes, very quickly, and then we can pull up another match that is still ongoing.
Okay. Force of Will from DoomBot's side. There's no removal in the main deck, so you can be sure that the Doorkeeper Thrall will stay on the battlefield here. And now you have to think about do you want to fight against it? Because if you have a 12/12 on the battlefield, if they reanimate Atraxa or Archon, there will be no ETB trigger, and they have to jump block because they will die to the Dreadnought.
Yep.
So, force
Force
pitching
fight.
days.
Yep, we have a
Force
multiple
pitching.
force fight. Force negation pitch Murktide region.
There's the one force of negation that you talked about.
Very effective here. Do we fight over it? It'll put the Dreadnought player down very low in terms of resources, but the clock ticks. And it is possible that even after all of this, we could still see. I believe that there's Fatal Push's main board in Reanimator right now. I could be wrong. Nope, there's no main deck Fatal Push. So
So
force
another
again.
force, another days, another force pitching Brazen Bower. So do you think it's worth it to pitch the Brazen Bower or just
I think that the
you,
Brazen Borrower. So the thing that the Brazen Borrower enables in the Dreadnought deck in part is to be able to block and then Brazen Borrower the card that they're blocking with if they're blocking with the Atraxa and then just push through all of the damage, right? So um, looks like that Dreadnought did not end up resolving. DoomBot drawing a card. We have a prismatic
prismatic
ending on the
ending on the
Tameo.
Tameo?
Yep.
So
Kind of
now we have the resources are emptied. Imanji should be down on all to 0 cards.
yep.
Doombot drew with the clue. Play another one. Did they find a Murktide? What do we have?
This could be Murktide. This could be Bowman. Either one of those cards are very powerful. We did see one Murktide get pitched. We are entombing and then reanimating. It looks like we're going to go fetch Archon here. And that will, so Atraxa instead. So we're just, the Doorkeeper Thrall is going to negate that trigger. So right, the Bowman isn't necessarily as strong with a Thrall on the battlefield, but it does prevent the Dreadnought player from casting any of their cantrips that they may draw off of the top of their deck.
I mean, not a ponder.
Not a ponder, that's true.
Doombot forgot about the Doorkeeper Thrall, so
He's pointing at the Doorkeeper Thrall, so now we know that there's a swamp on top,
now
unfortunately.
we have to shuffle the card that we just revealed into the
We
random part
do.
of our library.
We do have to. Yep.
So Atraxa is a 7-drop, so that is 7 life down the drain.
Yep. So we are at 8. It's unfortunate. So a little bit of a ding for Nick. In tournament, that would result, like in a Comp REL tournament, I believe that would result in a warning, right, Cather?
For sure, yes. So that is looking at extra cards. We revealed a card that we are not supposed to see. There was no other part of the library that is known, so I would issue a warning to the player and have them shuffle the card back into the deck. And if that happens multiple times, we have to slap on the fingers a little bit more heavily. After the third time, that's a game loss.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Upgrade.
Nothing
I
wrong
think
with
so.
having a 7/7 on the battlefield, though. Very powerful clock.
For sure. I mean, there is not a lot that we can do right now. So Dreadnought would be able to raise it a little bit, but Swords to Plowshares would be the perfect answer in this situation.
Indeed. It's kind of the best card in this situation, period.
So let's see if we can get any update from the other tables. We have...
Let's take a look. Looks like Dalibor takes game 1 against Blue Jewel. We have Steph Mountain taking game 1 against Streaksu. Deep Sea taking game 1 against Namgoose. Actually, Streaksu just took game 2 against Steph, so they are moving into game 3.
Games are going fast, and here we have the combo deck against the combo deck going into something like turn 5, turn 6, nothing too big. So much for Legacy being a turn 1 format. Legacy is there to long live Legacy.
For sure. Yeah, games are moving very quickly here today.
So, DoomBot is back. So we recovered from our player for trucks. So, I mean, having a 7/7 Death Touch flying lifelink vigilance creature is still very relevant. Also,
We
the
have cut him
Wasteland.
off of white mana.
Is this Tamio? I guess this
I
will
think that is Tamio. Yep, it's coming out of the board here. Attack for 7.
Oof.
Wasteland, the Soporific Springs, really just cutting him off of mana here.
So attacks for 7, clean switch with the life totals 8/15 to 15/8.
Not sure if we missed an attack here. Plays the Ghost Vacuum a little too late. Attack for 7. Lock with the Tamio because the Thrall is the card that's going to win us the game here. Yes, we can ask him to shift his cards down a little bit for the next game. Absolutely. Ponder here.
Okay. So that counting cards in graveyard looks like a Murktide thing to do.
Yep. Looks like he is drawing for turn. Thank you for the follow, Flexed. Appreciate it. Brazen Borrower here, flashing in a Petty Theft to bounce the Doorkeeper Thrall. Looks like we're going to play it out. We're going to play out the last turn here. Draws for turn, scoops it up. That's game 1.
So here we saw Reanimator playing, as you mentioned before, just playing the fair game, having a Tamio on the battlefield, doing nothing for a few turns, having triple force to protect the time to protect your game plan and going against your opponent's game plan. And in the end, the 7/7 beater was enough without the card advantage.
Indeed. All right, what do we think that we're going to see Imanji board in here, Cather?
So, consign to memory, Gravedigger's Cage for sure. You can think about Caracas just to get rid of Tamio. Prismatic Ending, it's not the best against the big beaters, but it's very good against Tamio and the annoying like fair game plan creatures from DoomBot's side. I think the Triumph of St. Catherine is not good enough against the tempo plan. So if you think they're going out of the combo, then you can consider playing that. But
Mhm.
mostly, I think that's it with the second vacuum. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, 5 cards if you take the Caracas.
Absolutely. What do you think we take out here? I think that the Oculus has come out, and I think that it's relatively safe to board out either a Curie or a Dreadnought. But curious as to your thoughts. Maybe even a Ponder, right?
Yeah, I was with a Ponder maybe a days. Um, so yes, maybe a Curie, because if you bring out the Dreadnoughts, then you have a lot of enablers for very few payoffs.
Yep.
So I think I would keep the Dreadnoughts there and just try to turn off the unfair game plan with the cage or something, and win with your combo against the other combo deck.
Mhm.
What do you think from DoomBot side? What do you bring in? What do you take out? Do you keep in the full combo? Do you trim a little bit? What's your plan?
I think that we trim and we go a little bit more hybrid, right? I think that Bitter Triumph is a very strong card against Curienought. Engineered Explosives, extremely powerful, right? You could lean into the Fatal Pushes and the Consign to Memories here as well. You stop the Tameo Flip trigger, right? You stop the Curie Draw trigger. You can counter a Dreadnought. You counter an Urza's Saga trigger. There's a lot of things that Consign can do against this deck that are very powerful. So I like it, but I don't know what's a cut. I think that days on the draw is always a consideration, right? Ponder is a little bit of a slower cantrip, and if you're on the draw again, you maybe don't necessarily want to do that. And I don't know how powerful Thoughtseize is against this deck.
So I think just getting the removal in, just being more fair and less graveyard heavy is really good in this matchup, because you can cut some of the entombs, some of the reanimates, just going with the Barrel Golf. The Barrel Golf trades pretty evenly with the Dreadnoughts, or as you mentioned, just um, going a little bit more fair and doing what you can. So we had another update from our tournament organizer with Deep Sea versus Nomgoose. There was a Magus on the moon on the battlefield, Green White Depths playing a Depths, and then Prismatic ending the Magus for 2020. And I think there were 0 dead gons in this list. So there are not a lot of ways to survive against a 2020 flying creature.
It's like we're going into game 2 now. Imanji on the play, and yeah,
Sideboarding is resolved. Guess the
indeed.
best way to find out how the player sideboarded is by watching what they are playing with their deck.
Mhm.
So while we are waiting for the players, what are you playing right now in Legacy? What is your go-to fun station?
So I have a couple of decks that I like to play in the server. I'm kind of known as the Vile guy, right? I like to play Death and Taxes, and I really like to play Esper Vile recently. It's a deck that I've been playing for about the last year and a half or so. Not the best positioned deck, but certainly one of the ones that I have the most fun with. More recently, I've been playing Torpor Orb Dreadnought or Wall Street with Ancient Tombs. And then I have also been playing the blue-white Pokimoki Blink pile from the last September 6th Legacy Challenge. It plays Felia and Gilded Drake and a lot of those other interesting cards. Main board consigns so that Felia can double as a removal spell. Very, very interesting deck list. And then 3 copies of Quantum Riddler as well.
That's what I was going for. The Quantum Whistler. Nice. Yeah, either Viral, not a very like present card right now. I mean, even some Death and Texas lists, they are playing this, maybe Murphork, but it's a very combo heavy violent meta, but not a vial heavy meta. But
Yep.
it's
What have you been playing recently? I know that you mentioned earlier that you're playing Blue Post. I know that you play Doomsday. Any other decks that you've been kind of perusing recently?
So I tried to shy away from Forge. I played a lot of Forge last year, but the mirror is so bad. That's why I switched over to Blue Post. And then mostly it is the Citadel Doomsday variant that I'm playing right now, which was surprisingly good. I think it's lucked me into 3 out of 5 top 8s. And then when I want to go for fun, they have a Esper tempo with just Tamio, Bowmaster, Kaito, and Swords and Plowshares instead of just having access to blue-black tempo.
Mhm. Awesome. Bolas Citadel Doomsday. That's so interesting to me.
It sounds like a meme. I played it because I wanted to meme around, but it just keeps winning. And then your opponent plays show and tell, and you have leyline of Bolas Citadel, and they never see another turn. It's the best. And then you have tendrils, and you just there's one way you draw a few cards, and they have like cards against your Doomsday, and then you just play 6, 7 spells and fair tendrils them. So
Yep.
it's a wild thing. You draw like there are some shitty cards that don't fit together, but it's all about the fun. You have to play what's fun for you, and then see the surprise of your opponents when you bring out the stupid deck lists. So, game 2, Imanji on the play. Let's see how this goes.
Looks like both players are keeping their 7s. Flooded Strand go. I'd really like to see the character in both of these players' decks. You know, the altar sleeves in DoomBot's list, and then in Imanji's list, the kind of high quantity of signed cards and original borders. We have FBB, Swords to Plowshares, and some other interesting things.
So,
Here's a Saga
ooh, here's the
trigger.
saga. So, if you're in Doombot's position, do you try to go for a safe fetch situation and wait until Imanji fetches to play around Stifle? I think we just found the answer.
Mhm. Looks like we just blindly, put it in there. If there's a stifle, so be it. If not, we get to move forward. And if there's sufficient lands in hand as well, it's possible that, Doombot just walks into it just to get the stifle out of their hand. So,
Yeah. The most frustrating part about the surveillance is if you're playing against Reanimator and they just blind flip a fatty into the graveyard, it feels so
mhm.
unfair without a
It's
setup.
brutal. It's brutal. So thinking about the top card.
What's my beer of choice? So this is an alcohol-free white beer for my side. It's Oettinger beer, which is one of the cheaper brands. People think it's a bad brand because it does not cost a lot of money, but actually their new brands without alcohol, they are amazing. Best bargain on the block.
Did not realize we had a command for that.
I'm
The more
glad
you
we
know.
do. Okay,
Here in the
so
States, it's pretty early, so not quite
one of
that
them
time
are.
yet. It's only about 12:30 right now. So,
Yeah, we have 6:22, so that is a little bit later. Also, it's not alcoholic. And okay, Wasteland from Doombot side. We surveilled an underground sea into the graveyard.
mhm.
So enough lands for now.
Looks like we are fetching here.
Do you go for basic lands? No, we just.
Meticulous Archive. We're gonna make the choice here as to whether we hit the Saga or the Archive.
Yes. So we are just playing white into this wasteland. Because if we have enough lands, we are happy to have the option.
Yep.
Okay, another fetch land.
Upkeep, Wasteland the Saga.
Okay.
Good timing. That way, again, if he has the Stifle, make him use the mana on his turn, right?
Exactly. If we know we have the dual land, we can overload our opponent with lands in this way. There's not enough wastelands to get rid of all the duels.
Yep. Tamio
Okay.
in, first threat of the game. on turn 3.
I mean, Tamio, not threatening your life totals, but threatening your game in a completely different way.
Yep. Given enough time, I mean, Tamio will do the thing, right? Looks like we're
So,
thought seizing here.
Aussies.
Maybe
Yes.
seeing if the door is open to go for Entombs. Unlikely to force this unless there's something really important in the hand. Being one. Brainstorm. Yep.
In
Tuck away the
response.
cards that you don't want him to know about.
Flipping Tamio in response too.
Indeed. Good play.
Also of note, except for Archon, are there any good answers to Tamio? Is the Bitter Triumph a way to get rid of Planeswalkers? Let's
Mm-hmm.
check. Target creature or Planeswalker? Yes, indeed it is. So, of note, except for the Orcish Bowmaster, we also have the Bitter Triumph to get rid of this Planeswalker here.
Yep. Force of Will, Prismatic Ending, Swords to Plowshares, Dreadnought. Interesting hand. No blue card. The inference that I make here is that there's a blue card on top, and we're trying to dissuade my opponent from taking the Force of Will here. That's my guess.
That's a possibility, but if the blue card is also Kui, then we don't
Yep.
need. Then we can just keep the Dreadnought and see if we can draw with a fairway with Kui. Because she's a 1/3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she is a 1/3 by default. And then it's
Yeah.
2 mana to activate her ability in response to the Dreadnought's ETB trigger.
Yes.
Leaving the hand open here.
So a lot of interaction from Imanji's side.
To me here. What threat do you think we go for here? Do you think we just do Archon of Cruelty? Oh, there we go. Answered.
Yeah, I think so, because there's a single Swords to Plowshares that can answer the Archon, but it also cleans up the Tamio immediately.
It does. It certainly does.
Hmm.
Harsh Flats take up the Tamio. Ghost Vacuum.
Ah, very nice.
Good card to put on top for sure. Fake out with the Force in hand. Gonna wait until he tries to target before he removes it. Very possible that DoomBot fetches another threat and then
Exactly.
tries to reanimate that instead if he Ghost Vacuums too early. So very important to just wait to pull the trigger on this.
Also, there's a very hidden mode on
Ooh,
Ghost Vacuum.
scoops it up. Oh yes, the hidden mode on Ghost Vacuum. Yeah,
6 mana activate.
make a
That is
1/1.
make
Oftentimes.
make a bolty 1/1, yes, but it
Hmm.
has some very nice ETBs
Yep.
if you exile Archon or Traxxas with it.
Yep. Going to game 3.
Okay. Okay, that seems to be maybe a little bit of an early concession from DoomBot's side, but they know what their deck is possible. And if they
Hmm.
went more all in on the combo, they know they cannot beat an active Tamio against 2 removal spells. Maybe it's just a way to save time in this situation.
Yeah, very possible. How do you think the sideboarding changes for game 3 here? Do you think that there are any pivots on DoomBot's side or on Imanji's side?
I think that's always a personal preference from the player side,
Mhm.
because if you just like to have the easy win button, you can go and um, leave in the combo. A lot of players, like now there's three main deck graveyard hate cards with Cage and Double Ghost Vacuum. You can just remove those 6 to 8 cards. You can keep in some reanimates and just bring in more fatal, like the Fatal Push, the Barrogoyfs, the Doughty Voidwalkers, the Bitter Triumph, and just be a fair deck, and then you don't care about the dead cards that your opponent has, which I think
Mhm.
would be a nice choice in this situation, um, because being on the draw as the like Curienought player, you try to have some kind of interaction, and if you dodge having this like not being on a reanimate anymore, you have an early game advantage already. You just need brainstorm, ponder, anything to just find your fair game style.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we have a couple of updates here in the chat as well for some of our other games. Deep Sea makes it to winners finals, winning 2-0 over Namgoose. Dalibor wins against Smalls on Blue Jewel, taking it 2-1. Smalls, thank you for participating in our event today. Really appreciate it. And then Streaksu wins against Steph Mountain 2-1 as well. So Steph Mountain, thank you for participating today as well.
Perfect. So is our future match yet again the last match to play?
It is. Yep.
You can't plan it better than this, I guess. But one of the big upsides from having a webcam tournament is we can just switch to any of the 8 players like matchup at an instant speed. There's no paper like table like setup where you have to switch players over to a different table. Everybody brings their own camera with them, and
Mhm.
that's one of the nice upsides doing it like this for us.
Yep. Absolutely. Coming into game 3 here. Looks like they are getting ready to start.
Okay. Resolving mulligans. It's like for paper Discord. We have this system where you can't cut your opponent's deck, so usually people make 3 piles and you choose which pile goes on top. So that is our mulliganing check decision. But one of the big upsides is we don't play for big prizes. Today we have a lot of like paper legacy token prizes. I think I can show some into the camera if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Give me a second. So, with our prices being some very well made tokens, I think we still have a few Swords to Plowshares and crop rotations. And I think Dark Ritual and Bolts should be out. So, this is my personal winning cards. Oh, then there we also have like the
Ooh.
Lightning Bolt. All of these artworks were hand painted by Dr. Leo's lovely wife. That helped us with the artworks having our unique tokens for all players to identify with our Discord and having a great way to show that they achieved something in our Discord. So
Yep.
turn 1, Thoughtseize.
Wow. Nazis Force Curie. Flooded Strand Island Urza Saga is the opening hand. Wow. What a hand. A lot of interaction. Probably was just going to lean on that Curie as a tempo threat.
I mean, what you can do is you can play turn 1 Urza Saga, turn 2 Curry, turn 3 get the Dreadnought, and just
Mhm.
exile it and swing for 12.
Yep. Ponder here.
So what do you think? Imanji says, okay, I want the Saga to be a tutor. I don't think I can get a construct out of it. Construct is not the game plan that I want to have.
Mm-mm.
So would you rather play out the Flooded Strand, getting a basic, and then having turn 2 or Saga for turn 3 for constructs? Or do you also want the sideboard hate as early as possible?
So I think that the goal in this matchup, if you think that he's still on the main Reanimator plan, I think that the main goal is to just get a Ghost Vacuum out as soon as possible, right? That's the card that kind of puts him on the back foot the most. Any other card, that you can get with the Saga can be effective, but not as effective as just denying the main game plan. So, Wasteland the Saga, get it out of here.
Okay.
Great draw.
Yes.
Island. Tameo.
Nice.
We know that he's got triple force in hand for the fatal push. If DoomBot does have that,
Do you try to protect your Tameo, like going down to the risk that they have the renovated game plan?
I think that you might have to, right? I'm
It's
not
a hard
sure
choice,
though.
yeah. Okay.
Brainstorming here. Considering maybe pitching one of the forces here, just to deny him looking at any additional cards.
So from DoomBot side, we don't know if the Reanimate game plan is still active. So what are we looking for? We need a second land. We haven't seen any Murktides yet, except for one being pitched to Force in the last game, I guess. So we have a variety of ways how we can manage or navigate this game.
We do, absolutely.
Okay,
We also haven't seen really any removal spells either.
let's see
Brainstorm
if it
puts cards on
changes.
top. Fetch land here.
Delta pass the turn. Yes.
Draws for turn.
Okay, we get at least one token in, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Imanji moving to combat here, attacking the Tameo. Trigger gets the clue token.
So we still know about Flooded Strand and 3 Force of Wills.
We do.
Ha-
Yep. Just a lot of interaction here. Ponder.
We have
It's the
5
hand.
cards in hand, 3
Yep.
forces, 2 unknown. Ah, no, there's the Flooded Strand, so 1
We,
unknown card.
yep. Yep.
I mean, if we want to keep our blue count as high as possible, we also have the choice to just play the fetch land, crack the clue,
Mm-hmm.
and having double force available.
Yep. You may be digging for a removal spell as well here, though. The Swords to Plowshares could be useful. Especially if the plan is to stick something like a Dothy Voidwalker or a Barrowglyph here. Flooded Strand pass. Fetch here. I think we go for sewers. No
Sounds
sign of a
reasonable.
wasteland. Wonder what we see off the top. Do we hit the threat and hit the ground running?
It's always a possibility.
Surveilling, thinking.
While I'm here looking at our overall legacy meta game, decks we are missing from the meta are blue red Delver with a what's the artifact name? The Cutter.
Oh, the Corey Steel Cutter.
Corey Steel Cutter. That card is nuts. That can generate so much. It's like the aggressive, expressive iteration that just gets you killed by generating creatures. We don't have any Eldrazi aggro, but other than that, we have some variant of Nadu, some Reanimator, Mystic Forge. We can replace that with the Blue Jewel variant, so an artifact combo deck. And I think this spread of our 8 players is a really good spread of the overall meta game that we have.
I think so too. Yeah, we have a lot of different decks represented here. Between especially between mid range and combo, quote unquote. Pretty indicative of the state of the metagame. One of the things that I noted that was absent in my conversations with some of the players this morning is that there's no oops in the metagame right now. In a broader sense, it's kind of on a downswing. If you had looked at this tournament maybe 2 or 3 months ago, you might have said that would be a contender. But as we moved into the fall, the deck kind of has fallen off a little bit. So
Ooh. Also, there's kind of a special player base for Oops that not everybody likes to play this all in turn one combo deck.
that's valid. Also,
Ooh,
no
we have a
cephalid breakfast. We have,
Thoughtseize.
yep, Thoughtseize coming in.
Do we
Looks like
Force
we
of
might
Will here?
force it.
So there must be something good.
Quite possible. Yep. Here's Force Pitch Force. Interesting. Imanji going to 19. I wonder what he could possibly be protecting in the hand. Is there maybe a Doorkeeper Thrall waiting on the sidelines here?
The question is, you have Tamio. You have the board presence to go
Oh,
proactive.
DoomBot is thought seized himself.
Ah,
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
yes.
It's like maybe a force in response. Pitch Brazen Borrower. Yep. This is a game. Do we go for the double force here? If we
We
don't,
have
what happens? That's
question is
true.
how
Doom.
many Reanimates? Oh,
Poof.
that
Force
was
Pitch
the Oculus.
Oculus. Well, we can get some of those cards back with the Tameo here. Be crazy if we saw a land fatal push here. I don't think we're going to, but if we did, I would be hype.
Question is, do you think it's fair game to let the Thoughtseize resolve, put the fatty to the graveyard, and just hope that you can find any kind of reaction spell to this? Because the
Well,
Reanimate can still target the Kui, and then. Or do you want to force the payoff with the Reanimate or Animate that, or the Enabler with the Entomb, where you have to
I,
fear
mhm. I
the
think that
threat?
if you don't force the enabler, you have less ways to respond to the enabler or to the threat itself, sorry, once it's in the graveyard, um, than ways that you have to interact with it on the stack. I think that if we're talking specifically about the graveyard, right, um,
Hmm?
we only have 3 or 4 cards in the deck that can interact with that, whereas, with the spells, we have 6 to 7, right? So
I mean, the
we
upside
also
is also
have,
if it's in your hand, then you know they can't Entomb for it.
yeah,
So
that's true.
there's a valid reason to be fighting about yeah, about the
Yeah.
thoughties here for sure.
We are attacking again with the Tameo, generating another clue token, and then sending it back. Corrupt Senate, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Also, we had Force Pitch Oculus. The last card in hand should be the last Force, and we could peek at a Swords to Plowshares there.
We have Reanimate targeting Curie.
Ooh. So
Does serve as a way to kind of get resources back that you don't have to invest mana into.
so now we need some kind of representation for the Curie on the battlefield from DoomBot.
We do.
Yeah, I think DoomBot is preparing
There we
something
go.
right now.
Yep, we've got an empty sleeve. Perfect.
Okay.
Now,
If
Curie,
you're able to flip Tamio here, the uptick from Tamio disables the Curie in a great way.
it does. Yep. Tameo's effect makes attacking creatures lose 1 power until end of turn when they attack. So it would turn off the curiosity aspect of the Curie.
Yes.
So definitely understand the reason that DoomBot has taken this line. Looks like we're hitting some more lands for Imanji. It's not a bad spot to be in. Not at all.
Yes, the brainstorm. So now we can ignore Curie.
Flip the Tameo. Yep. We have the fetch land to,
Yes.
get rid of those chaff cards that we're going to be putting back on top. Got 2 clue tokens too, so
Yeah, I think now we are heading into a direction where Imanji feels a little bit more comfortable because we have active Tamio. Curie on the opponent's battlefield is not doing anything. We have a Swords to Plowshares. We have Force of Will in our hand. Probably we have 2 clues. We can still advance our game plan.
yep.
We are in the driver's position now. We get advantage every turn. We can ultimate Tamio. We can remove your creatures, Force of Will things. Do you think Imanji turned it around completely, or is there a chance that DoomBot can fight its way out?
I think there's still a chance, if there is any way out, it's going to be, I think, Orcish Bowmasters here. After having drawn a second threat as well, right? So we need to get the first threat onto the battlefield, bait out the Swords to Plowshares, right? And then we need to resolve the Orcish Bowmasters in response to the Tameo ultimate, if that's the line that they take.
So the brainstorm from DoomBot side just resolved.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tameo of our own. We're gonna plow it.
No chance to get anywhere.
Triumph of St. Catherine off the top, the card that we weren't sure was going to come in here. We talked a little bit during one of the breaks about it maybe being a little ineffective here, maybe a little anemic.
Yeah, now we have the question, do we still uptick Tamio, or do we just say, no, we'll take the Swords to Plowshares?
Downtick for the plow. That's true. I think we might downtick here. Looks like we're coming up. Nope, down for a Force of Will. Interesting. Passing turn. We could have a Brazen Borrower here. That could be slightly effective. Nope, looks like DoomBot's going to scoop it up here. And Imanji takes it 2-1, so Imanji moves on to winners finals here. And we will be showing Imanji versus Deep Sea coming up next. So you will be watching Curienought versus Green White Depths in the winners finals. So thank you again to all of our spectators, and we will see you shortly.
Perfect. Looking forward to the next round.